Make sure you guys share today's video for me on social media. The boss has said we got to get our shares numbers up a little bit here in the month of November. Just trying to get the word out there to more Bengals fans that aren't necessarily tapped in to the things that we are doing here at Bengals Breakdown. So any platform in which you desire, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you name it, just go ahead and share today's video for me right now. Welcome in once again to Bengals Breakdown. Stone Shields on hand, taking a look at some overreactions here on a Friday. Typically, we do these overreaction videos on a Monday, of course, but with the Bengals playing on Thursday Night Football, we're going to take a look at them here on Friday. So basically, we'll go through 5 of them, and I'll tell you guys whether or not I believe it is an overreaction or not an overreaction. We'll start right here with the Bengals are wasting Joe Burrow. And look, this clearly, to me, right now is not an overreaction. Joe Burrow continues to play at an incredible level for this Cincinnati Bengals football team. Once again, last night, he was absolutely fantastic for this Bengals team. Had over 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and they asked him to drop back there and throw it 56 times. And really, he was just unbelievable throughout the entirety of that game. And he took massive shots in that game as well. I think he got hit over 13 times in that football game, and he continued to just dot guys up, throw balls on the money, make the right play, and extend plays. It really was unbelievable, as it typically is, watching Joe Burrow out there for this Bengals offense. But for whatever reason, he just doesn't have the right guys around him right now. And I think that certainly is a reflection upon the front office, which we'll get to them in a little bit. But currently, the Bengals are just wasting the things that Joe Burrow can do. The offensive line was bad last night, clearly. We'll talk about them in a little bit more detail here in a moment. The defense has struggled all season long as well. So they're really just in a spot right now where Joe Burrow is kind of a one-man show, or two-man show, I guess, with Jamar Chase. He absolutely went off in that game last night. But ultimately, there are not enough pieces around Joe Burrow. The organization is doing Joe Burrow dirty. Of course, they paid him a ton of money, so that part's fine. But from a football perspective, they're not putting him in the best possible position to succeed. He is doing absolutely everything he can, and it isn't resulting in wins right now here in 2024 for Cincinnati. Leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. Will the Bengals waste Joe Burrow's career? Right now, I think it's fair to say that they're absolutely wasting it. And, the things that he is doing out there on the football field, they're wasting it. But the question I have for you guys, are the Bengals going to waste his career? Let me know in the comment section. Obviously, we hope this is not the case, but it certainly looks like that is the trajectory we're going at this point. But sound off for us, type Y for yes, N for no. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Hop down in the comment section and let us know what you think. Next overreaction here is Zac Taylor needs to go. It seems like after every Bengals loss, we get on here and list this as an overreaction because I know a lot of you guys like to get after Zac Taylor pretty hard as the Bengals head coach here. But look, this to me is still very much an overreaction. The offense was humming last night, scored a lot of points. Zac Taylor was kind of in his bag. Is there questions as to some of the decisions that were made? Zac Taylor decided it was going to be a game in which he needed to be really aggressive. And I give him a lot of credit because he stuck to that throughout the entirety of the football game. And I think he certainly deserves a lot of credit for doing that. And also, look, a lot of us have criticized Taylor in the past for, taking the ball out of Joe Burrow's hands. Certainly did not do that in this game against the Baltimore Ravens. Threw it 56 times, was going for it on 4th down throughout the entirety of the game. And, you can't use that as an excuse. He certainly gave Joe Burrow an opportunity. Joe Burrow made the most of his opportunity, but ultimately it wasn't enough to get the victory. So for me, this still is an absolute overreaction. Maybe there's some other pieces along the coaching staff, certainly front office people that need to be held accountable. Not giving Zac Taylor a free pass here by any means. He's got to be better, no question about it. But as far as being a fireable offense here for the way this team is kind of playing, that to me still is extreme at this point in the season. Now, we will see exactly how this team finishes, but for now, I remain convinced that would be a complete overreaction to get rid of Zac Taylor. This next guy, though, is not an overreaction, and that is Frank Pollack. If you don't know who Frank Pollack is, he's the offensive line coach for this Bengals football team and has been for a while. And look, the organization has put a lot of finances into this offensive line. And it still is not good. It still is very bad. And it's just unfortunate that he hasn't been able to get the most out of this group. I hate to say it. I don't like to come on here and call for people's jobs, but it's time for Frank Pollack to go because that performance last night was absolutely ridiculous. Look, most quarterbacks in the NFL wouldn't have been able to function with the way that they were playing, but Joe Burrow is just so dang good, they were able to get away with some of the things that they were doing. But how many times were there free rushers or guys that just went simply right by one of your blockers on their way to the quarterback, and Burrow just had to make an incredible play to get out of there? There's some talent in this room. Amarius Mims. Look, I'm very high on Amarius Mims. He looked good in spots today. He looked like a rookie last night, and he looked like a rookie in times and spots as well. But look, I've got some confidence in him. Orlando Brown Jr., obviously that sucks that you're without him right now. And you got to lean on Cody Ford, who just really should not be a starting tackle in the National Football League. That's just kind of the way it is. But you've been forced to, put him into duty. Cordell Volson, Alex Kappa, maybe not the interior that you had hoped for as well. But he's got to find a way to improve. But honestly, I'm just kind of over it with Frank Pollack. And I think all the people out there that want a coaching change, I think that's the change you need right there. I think you need to find a new offensive line coach here, certainly in the offseason. And I don't even think it would be outrageous to let him go at this point right now in the regular season here in 2024. Another opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Would you fire Frank Pollack? Be honest with us in the comments section. This is really the first time I've come on here saying that somebody needs to get fired. I don't like doing it, but I know you guys in the comments section love calling for people's jobs. So let me know, would you fire Frank Pollack? Type F for fire or type K for keep. We'll continue here with our overreactions here in a moment. But first, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at Prize Picks, because today's Overreaction Friday video is presented by Prize Picks. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get action on sports in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. Join over 10 million users and sign up today. They also invented the flex play over there at Prize Picks. And look, I really enjoy this feature at Prize Picks. This is my slate from last night. Unfortunately for me, it was not a successful night as far as my flex play went. Went with the more than on the Joe Burrow touchdown passes. That obviously worked out very well. Went with the more than on the Trey Hendrickson sacks. Was not able to execute that mark. Went with the more than on Derrick Henry as well, and that fell short. But the bottom line, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's Prize Picks. Run your game. Next overreaction here is the front office deserves the most blame. Just a little recap here. 1, the Bengals are wasting Joe Burrow. Not an overreaction. Zac Taylor needs to go. Overreaction. Frank Pollack needs to go. Not an overreaction. Front office deserves the most blame. Also, not an overreaction. Look, the personnel on defense clearly is not good enough. And it's really frustrating that you opted not to do anything defensively at the trade deadline. And then the very next game, you go out there against Lamar Jackson, and you can't put any pressure on him whatsoever. So, that's just an indictment on the front office for not making a move. Yeah, you made a move for a running back who, by the way, got 1 touch and fumbled it, and then we were just like, yeah, we'll just, save him for another week, essentially. So that kind of blew up in your face as well. But this front office, man, has to be held accountable for the things that they have/haven't done. And they're a big reason this team is where they are at right now. The most blame, in my opinion, goes to the front office, and that absolutely is not an overreaction. Now, we always have all Bengals news, rumors, injury updates, watch parties, all that here at the channel, so don't miss out on any of our coverage here at Bengals Breakdown. We're chasing 13,000 subscribers, and we should be able to hit that mark here in the not-so-distant future. So really looking forward to that. Appreciate all you guys that have subscribed, but looking to continue to grow our family here at Bengals Breakdown. So hit that sub button so you don't miss any of our coverage of the Cincinnati Bengals. That's youtube.com/Bengals TV. Last one here on the list. The season is cooked. To me, this is not, this to me, rather, is an overreaction right now. I do not believe this season is over yet for Cincinnati. I think you still have winnable games on the horizon. Does Sunday night's game against Los Angeles, the Chargers, of course, on the road, become a must-win game? Yes, that is a must-win game. You lose that game, I think your season is probably over. But you win that game, I think you stay alive. You still have an opportunity to play Pittsburgh twice. Really good football team, but those 2 wins would go a long way. And you play some weak opponents as well. The Cowboys are a mess. The Titans are a mess as well. And, of course, the Browns are a mess additionally. So you're going to have some opportunities to get some wins. The Bengals still, by the way, looking for their first victory against a winning football team, a team with a winning record. That was not able to, come to fruition against Baltimore, obviously. But there's some really winnable games on this schedule. And when 9-1 are playing the way they did on Thursday, you always have a chance. So I'm not giving up on the season quite yet. But definitely, it's hanging in the balance for sure. And I believe Sunday against the Chargers definitely is going to be another must-win game for this Bengals football team.